Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, hello, hello. From wherever it is that you're watching us, you're welcome to Arise Conversations on the Heritage TV, London, UK based online TV channel where we bring you happenings around us, specifically for the Pan African community. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are on planet Earth. This evening, we're bringing you updates on a minor's alleged murder case. There's a minor, a 14-year-old going on 15-year-old young girl from Ogun State, Nigeria, by the name Abosede Idowu, and she was charged for murder. And we've been working on her matter for the past few weeks. Unfortunately, the coronavirus incident kind of shoved it to the side a bit, but we were continuing to monitor her progress and working with people on ground in Nigeria. Today, we are very glad and happy to bring you some heartwarming updates about her case and what is going on with the matter. With me, of course, is our champion herself, Miss Susie Retiola, popularly known as Susie Reti, on social media, who really was very particular about helping this young girl. As we know Susie's antecedents, she's one to always jump on matters that are of great concern. Anything to do with humanitarian causes, anything to do with helping somebody, whether they're a baby or an adult or a child, that's one of the things that kind of pulls her heart, and she goes out there to do what she needs to do. And I feel very honored and very privileged to have been able to work with her on this particular one. And Susie's now joining us also from London. Hi, Susie, my dear. How are you?
Hi, Princess. Thank you so much for all your help and your support. Right, let me get this camera right. Mm, am I okay there? Yep, I should. Thank you
We can see
so much for all.
your cute face.
I know. Thank you so much for all your support and all your help, Princess, is what I just have to say to you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure indeed. My pleasure. I'm really happy to have been part of what we're trying to do to ensure that this young girl, does get free. So first of all, let's
Yeah.
backtrack a bit. Let's backtrack a bit. By the way, if you're just
Okay.
tuning in, this is Arise Conversations on Heritage TV. My guest tonight is the one and only Susie Retiola, popularly known as Susie Reti on social media. She's an IT consultant. She's also a qualified professional social worker. She worked as a social worker for about 14 years, maybe more. So she has dealt with children and she understands the nature of quite a number of situations. And therefore, no other person better to deal with this particular matter concerning our dear Abosede Idowu. Also, Susie is, as we all know, a social activist. So anything that affects the human being, any human angle story, Susie is there. Sometimes she does some, funny ones to make us laugh, but most of the time she actually presents us with very serious matters that touch our consciences and enables us to arise and do the right thing and hopefully chip in as well to help. So Susie is with us tonight, and we'll be talking about Abosede's Idowu's case and where we're at now. So can you just give us a little recap, Susie, about Bose's situation, how you heard of her story, and where we're
Yeah.
at as at today?
Okay, Bosse, like a lot of my cases, Bosse's case came to my attention. Can I ask a favor, Princess? Or do
Yes,
you want
darling.
me to just start it? Because I would like us to play the videos, the two
Okay.
videos that we have. Yeah, so let me just start with what you asked me to do. So, as you said, I spend a lot of my time on social media. And one of the things that I do is that if I come across something that I feel that maybe I can offer a bit of support here and there, I will. I have this motto that says you can't change the whole world, but you can change somebody's world. So that is what I go by. So with Bus's case, I think somebody sent it to me and said, wow, Susie, look at this young lady. And when I watched the video, which I hope Uncle Ade is going to play for us, for people to understand, and it was this young girl who was being accused of murdering someone. It was in Yoruba, and the Yoruba was good enough for me to understand that she had spent a few days with the man, and he had accused her of stealing money, and where she was denying it, he was trying to put his hand down her bra and forcefully take the money out. And then he brought out a knife to threaten her. And then a struggle ensued, and she fell on the knife. Now, when I looked
He
at
he
her, I was
he fell
like,
on the
oh,
knife, not she. He fell on the
sorry,
knife.
sorry. Yeah, he fell on the knife. So when I saw it,
Okay.
when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, because I'm a mother of two young ladies, you understand? And we've all been young ourselves. But when I looked at her, she looked like a little child, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I was thinking to
Hmm.
myself that, well, this is a little child. This girl, this is not a woman. So I thought, you know what? I need to try my best to follow this story. So luckily for me, somebody inboxed me, a lady called Abby. I forgot whether she inboxed me or somebody gave me her information. But however which
Okay.
way it was, I got in touch with her, and I think I got in touch with her. And when I got in touch with her, luckily for me, she was actually at the police station, and she had been like looking into the case. And she linked me up with the IPO of the police station where Buster was being held. Because what happened was, Buster's incident happened a day before that footballer was killed in Shagam. So that
Shagamu.
kind of
Kaka.
overrode
Kaka.
Shagam, yeah.
They're on their
Shaka.
third day of their Learn Forex.
Right, yeah. So that kind of overrided Bosse's case, and Bosse got left in police custody. So she was in the police cell. And then myself and Abby were speaking, and Abby said to me that, well, there were some community leaders from the Awusa side, and there was some community leader from Bosse's side, but they hadn't had any contact with Bosse's parents. So I said to her, okay, she went in to see Bosse at one point while Bosse was in the police station. Abby went in to see her. Abby spoke to her. I guess Bosse was really scared because she was just being kept in a police cell, which we know is for custody, by herself, which was basically a room with a bed. I think there was a bucket. They said there was a bucket
Sorry.
there for her. So she was planning to go to the toilet, and they couldn't get her to the toilet. Then she could do it whatever she needed to do in the toilet, and then she would throw it away later. So she spoke to Bosse. Bosse was very, very distraught. And then they said the plan was to move her to another major police station. And so we agreed that when they moved her, we would make sure that we still have links there. So they moved her. Then when they moved her, we kind of lost contact with her. But we knew that the community leader of her community was still in touch with the case. He was the one dealing with the case. So Abby had said to me, Abby, once they moved her to Abeokuta, Abby kind of lost contact. So Abby said to me, you know what, Susie, I'll introduce you to the community leaders who are looking after this case, or who are kind of running the case. So I said, okay then. So then I was just sitting down, and I was thinking, you know what? When it comes to Nigeria, you can't just wait for one way. You have to try whatever angles you can try. And Princess, you came to my mind. And I thought, I need to get in contact with Princess because I know Princess is from around that area. And we had been talking about another case, don't forget, the four girls who had been stripped naked and walked through the village. I was like, right, let me ring Princess. I mean, I did ring two or three other people and didn't really get anywhere. And I rang you, and God willing, God bless. Soon as I rang you, you were on it hot. And you, Princess, you said to me, Susie, I'll get in touch with the Cabbaces, one of the Cabbaces staff members, one of the high up staff members. And you said to me, and you sorted out a group, and within about an hour we were talking to him, and he said to me, I'll come back to you guys in 2 days. And we were like, okay. And Abby was meant to go there in 2 days time as well, so I said, okay, whichever one comes out first. So I'd spoken to Abby in the morning 2 days later, and Abby had said to me that they will go there in the afternoon. She was actually going to go with the IPO. So I would like to say a big thank you to the IPO of the police station in Shagam, Mr. Kende. He was so helpful. He rang me a few times. You know, he was so helpful. And Abby, bless her. So himself and Abby planned to go and see the Seriki of the Awusas of the victim. So the Seriki of his community, and then your contacts, your Cabas's sorry, I didn't hear you, Princess. Your Cabas's member of staff. No, I can't hear you. You know, I can't hear anything. Sorry, I can see your mouth moving, but I can't hear anything. Say that again.
The Seriki is the head of the Hausa community in Shagamu.
Right. Right, so that was it. So she was going to introduce me to the Seriki so that the Seriki could, talk to us. By this time, they'd already established that they had agreed that what happened had happened in self-defense, and the Seriki had already agreed that they were ready to settle the case out of court. By this time, they had already signed the affidavits to say that they had agreed, they were in agreement that the case should be settled out of court. And then
Okay.
I saw an interview which Punch did, of which Bosse was claiming to be 18, and that totally confused me because I looked at her, and I know people can look young, but she didn't look developed. She didn't look up to 18 to me. So when I actually spoke to Abby, and Abby actually went in to see her, but of course, they're not allowed phones in the police station. Abby came out to me, and Abby said to me, Susie, that girl is no more than 13, 14. I said, but she said she was 17 going on 18. Abby said, no, Susie, there's no way. I'm a mother. She's not. Unless she has some type of deformity, there is no way. So I was like, okay. So she was about to arrange that meeting, and that morning, as I was, looking forward to speaking to them in the afternoon, you called me and you said to me, we have the Seriki on the line with the Cabbace's contacts. Yeah? Sorry, I didn't want to mention who
Absolutely.
he was just in case. So
Yes.
then we were able to speak to the Seriki, and the Seriki confirmed everything that Abby had said to me, and he put us in contact with the you're gonna have to tell me who it was now. Mr. Wahid, who is he? He's the community leader?
Association. And as God would have it, Abosede is actually, even though she lives in Okijo, seriously, this is a voluntary
Yeah,
position. He just happens to be the president of the community's association, but he took it
yeah,
on himself. He just saw the girl, recognized the name, and linked her with the family he knows who lived opposite his own home in Ayekwe. And quickly he got up, rounded up his people, and he just started working on the matter, not even knowing
yeah.
that yourself or myself would be in touch with him.
Yes, no, he was, and Abby had spoken to him a number of times at the police station. So by the time we spoke to the Seriki of Sabo, the Awusa people, Princess, I have
Yes,
to say, the man was so helpful, and the man was the one who gave
absolutely.
us Mr. Wahib's number, and we
Yes, he
spoke to
said
him about the
that is the
situation.
person you need to talk to. He told
Yep,
us.
and and he confirmed to us that they had filled in an affidavit to agree that
Yes.
this was an accident that had happened in self-defense. And so he
Absolutely.
gave us the number for Mr. Abdul, and we spoke to Mr. Abdul, and Mr. Abdul, bless him, he was so helpful, gave us all the information we needed straight away, explained to us the situation of the case, so we knew
Yes.
how far they had gone. And then one of the things that bothered me was that I was told that the father had not been to see Abosede all the time she had been in the police custody.
Yeah.
And by this time she had been in police custody for about 17 days. Yeah? So I
Yes.
and who she
Yeah.
really is. So Mr. Wahid said,
Yes.
no problem. I've spoken to the father a number of times. What actually happened was that when Basade was arrested, when they went to look for the father had ran away. So, but since then, he has spoken to the father, and the father has explained that he ran away because he was scared and that he would get the father to talk to us the next day. So Mr.
Yes.
Wahid, thankfully, on time, got he in short, he was the one that rang us with
He's
the
always
father
on
to
time.
say,
Always on time.
always on time, honestly. He was the one that rang us to tell us that the father was with him and ready to talk to us. So I spoke
Yes.
to the father, I interviewed the father, of which we done a live Facebook interview. And the father explained his position to me. Now, one of the saddest things about Basse's case was that the father now said to me that Basse was 14 years old, that she was 15, that Basse was
Mm.
15 years old, and that what had happened was that he was married before, he had a wife who had 3 kids for him. When himself and that wife separated, he remarried and he married Basade's mother.
Mother.
Basade's mother died when Basade was 7 years old, and he was the sole carer for Basade, and Basade was living
Absolutely.
with him. There were some
Yes.
issues when it came to school, and Basade had to be withdrawn from school, and he sent Basade to go and Basade, sorry, to live with another family. And I was still going to speak to Father about this more because I would like to also speak to Basade about this, about who this family actually were and what she was actually doing there. So she went to live with that family, and then at the age of 13, Bosede went missing, and the father has not had contact with her since she
Which is
went
about two
missing at
years
the age of,
ago.
which was, yeah, so it's going to be 3 years in June because she's going to be 16. She's 15 now, and she's going to be 16 in June, June the 4th, I think, which means it's going to be 2.5 years that he has not
Yes.
seen his daughter. His other children, he explained to me, are grown up. I think the youngest is 23 and married,
No,
lives
no,
in the
no, no.
same
The
Ayeko
youngest,
with him.
the oldest. He said the oldest is 23. The youngest is
Is it the
18.
oldest? Okay, so,
The
but
youngest
that
is
one is
18.
married,
The
is
next, the middle one is 21. The oldest is 23. The 23 one is the one that
right?
is married, that lives in
Okay, so
Ayigbe.
that's it. And the 23-year-old is the one that Basse actually talks to. Am I
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I said to him, so I was asking him, so the kids, you can look at a pattern here. The kids have all been, they don't live with him. Apart from Basade was the only one that was living with him. And you know what was so sad is that I asked him why he ran away. And he said because he was scared. Because he was scared that they were going to arrest him, that they did come to Ayekwe to look for him, and they told him that they were looking for him. But he ran away because he's a poor man, he's a grave digger, he
He
earns
said
about
he
5,000.
wouldn't have the money they were going to ask for.
Yes, he earns about 5,000 naira per grave. And, you know, his words to me were, people don't die every day, so I don't dig graves every day.
Every
And then
day.
I remember Mr. Wahid saying to me that where he lived was the house he lives in is in very bad condition, that he lives in the family house
Dilapidated.
is in
Totally
very, very
dilapidated.
bad Totally. And I asked him, I said, is this where you lived with Abosede? And he said, yes. And I
Yes.
asked him, I said, where did Abosede sleep? You know, so, and I could make out from the conversation, they both lived in one room in that accommodation. So I agreed. We checked what needed to happen, and one of the things that they explained to us was that the Awusa community, according to tradition, needed to be settled. They needed to be paid for it to be settled out of court. They needed to be paid
The
because
family,
the
the
man.
family of the man,
Yeah,
the
so we
family of the man.
established that, yeah, so no, so the Cherokee, so we were able to establish that the man was Bosade's pimp. The man is actually, he's a 27-year-old man, married with two wives and six kids. And so, to be honest with you guys, the only way to settle this matter quickly, because as you could think, we had a 15-year-old girl in custody, in police custody, not even in the prison. They said she was in one room with just a bed and
There
a
was no
few
bed.
clothes.
There was no
There was
bed.
no bed, so she was sleeping on a mat on the floor, and we needed to get her out of custody as soon as possible. And so we
Yes.
managed to ask them about what needed to be done to secure her release, and they gave us everything. I think came to about 350,000.
Yes.
And that was when we opened a GoFundMe account. We were able to raise 200 and we raised 230, but if you check it, it says 290. But what happened was one of Idowu, bless her, clicked the button three times. So instead of doing a £20 donation, she done a £60 donation.
60
So
pounds.
I'm still yeah, by mistake. So I'm still trying, and I've rang her about three or four times, and you know I have, darling, to return her £40. So we managed to raise 130 pounds at that point of time, and that money was transferred to them. And Mr. Wahid had got some money from somewhere else to secure her release. So the money has been paid. She was meant to go to court on Friday. That was stopped. Can I explain the reason why it was stopped, Princess?
Yes, I just also want to quickly, for us, you and I, to say a big, big thank you to my poor first cousin that we woke up in the middle of the night. I called him of
No,
the
bless
night
you.
to
Yeah,
just
bless
support,
you.
and he did. His name is Mr. Jojolola Daudu. Cause thank you so much. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Thank you.
We're really, really
Thank
appreciative because that was what enabled Mr. Abdul Wahab to go to Abeokuta the next day and do what he needed
you. Yeah.
to do. And so many other
He
people
donated money straight away. He
straight
donated
away.
money straight away, honestly. He donated money straight away. In short, that touched me so
He said
much,
if he had
Princess,
more
honestly.
time, he said if he had more time, he would have called on some of our other cousins and other people, in
Yeah.
Shagamu to help. But that really helped us. So thank you. And to other people too, everybody who did what they needed to do. And the
There were so
GoFund
many,
is still
honestly.
live. It's still live.
Yes.
The
Can I
GoFund because
explain? Can I explain why the GoFund is still live? Yeah.
yeah,
So, guys, we
please.
managed to raise £230, and then I think we've still got £20 because it came to wait, so 290. So we managed to raise 220, and then plus
Yes.
the £60, so 230. It comes to 290, but £40 needs to be returned. Yeah. So
Yes.
we did forward what we had in the GoFundMe at that point of time. GoFundMe took £10 out for their fees. It was around £10, £9 something they took out. Now that money was used to secure Bus's release. Now one of the
Yes.
conversations that I had with Bus's father was what is going to happen. It's all good and well us trying to secure your daughter's release, but what is going to happen to your daughter after we have secured her release? For me, when I work with cases, I don't just do something and leave it there and forget about it. I like to see it to the end. And when it's young people, I like to see young people rehabilitated.
Rehab
Sorry, in
rehabilitate. Rehabilitated. I said it.
Rehabilitated.
Rehabilitated.
So I like to see them empowered and given another chance in life, because one of the things I did with Barnet Social Services was I was a leaving care social worker. So our job was to prepare young people leaving the care system and prepare them for independent life and see them through that independent life, be it through to college, university, getting a job. And we worked with young people till they were 24 then, before I left social services. So I had spoken to Boss's father, and I said to him that before I spoke to you, Princess, in my mind I thought, right, when she comes out, what would happen to her? Yeah. So I took it upon myself and I contacted a lady who I have a lot of respect for in Makodi. And I'd spoken to her. We had a similar case, not similar to Boss's case, but if you remember, the lady that they stripped naked and put Pepe up
Yes.
her private.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
yeah, so I'd worked with her with another girl called Elizabeth Error, bless her, and we had put all these plans in place, and the humanitarian solicitor mucked it all up. But I'd already spoken to Favor about this, and I knew that she could do it. So I thought, let me give her a ring. So I gave her a ring and said, I've got this young girl. This is the situation with this young girl. By this time, I'd ascertained that she was 15, and I said, she's no 14. Then I thought, but I said, this is her age. This is what needs to happen with her. I didn't even know her history that deep. And Favor promised me that she would accommodate her and they would arrange for her to return back to school since she dropped out of school. Was that in her first year, Princess, when she dropped out of secondary school?
Ab- Abosede.
Yeah,
Abosede didn't even. She didn't go to secondary school at all. She finished primary school. She
primary school.
finished
She finished
primary
primary
six.
school. Right,
She finished primary,
primary
and she
six.
said she was no longer interested in
She said
school.
she wasn't interested. Exactly, exactly.
And
Now, one thing I am going to say,
her father took her to his own cousin to live because
yes,
they have a family unit. But obviously,
yes,
Boss's mind was out of studies, and she only lived with
and
them
we
for a
don't know.
while
And we
and
don't
ran
know what
away.
she went to go. And we don't know what she went to go and do there. Was she there to learn a trade? Was
She
she
was
there?
no,
But
she
we will
was
have
there.
further conversations.
He did say
Yeah,
that
we'll
she
have
was
further
there.
conversations with the past.
Yes, but she was there to continue her education because
Yeah,
he said he
but that
couldn't.
didn't
He said
happen.
he couldn't look after her on his own any
Yes.
longer.
Yeah. So yes, so then I spoke to my friend Flavor Better, who runs an orphanage in Makodi, and I said to her, "How about if I get them to bring this young girl to you? What can we do?" So she said, "Sister Susie, I'll get her back into secondary school, and I'll get her because of her age. We'll look at her going to school in the evenings, and I'll get her learning a trade in the daytime." And I said, "That is perfect." So the day we spoke to the father, I put this to the father because the father hasn't looked after her. He hasn't even seen her for 2.5 years. And I
For two and a
said
half
to him, I
years.
explained to him, yeah, and I explained to him that we don't know where your daughter has been for 2.5 years. We don't know what your daughter has been through for 2.5 years. So
Mm.
please, are you okay if I am willing to take full responsibility for your daughter and move her to such and such a place? You will go with her so you know where she is. If you want to visit her, I am happy to finance that journey so that you can check her from time to time.
From time to
And the father
time.
said yes, fine. From time to time. And the father said yes. And I told him where she would be moving to, which was very far away. And Mr. Wahid, bless him, said all of them would take Bassa there to take her out of where she has been growing up, where there's a
Mm.
big stigma attached to her face. Because as we know, the Punch have already done, there's already two major interviews there of her the day of the incident, and the Punch newspaper did an interview with her while she was in the police station. So, and
Yeah.
then my experience of some other girls, and these days of social media, it could be a distraction for her if she comes out. So we need to resettle her somewhere else, far away, where she can be able to learn skills. You never know. She might want to live there or she might want to move back. But even when she comes back, she'll be able to come back with a skill, and
Okay.
she'll be empowered. So, yeah.
We have
And,
a question, Susie darling. There's a quick question now. The people
yes,
want to know why Friday. She was supposed to have been released on Friday. They want to know
yes.
why that was stopped.
Okay, so the reason why she was meant to go to court on Friday. When Mr. Wahid spoke to them, he went to court on Friday, so we were all expecting her to be released on Friday. When I rang Mr. Wahid to find out what was going on, to check whether she had been released, he said they didn't bring her to court because the Punch newspaper wanted to interview her. And
Can you
when they
imagine?
rang the Punch newspaper to tell the Punch newspaper that she was going to be in court, they said that they couldn't make it, that could they please change it to Monday when they could send a reporter down to interview her, of which I was not happy because I'm like, hold on a sec. They've interviewed her the first time, they put her face out there. They want to interview her on release. What have they done for her? What type of support are they going to offer her? You understand? This is a minor that is being exploited here, all for the sake of getting a headline. To me, I'm saying, and I experienced this with the young lady Ife, who was among the 4 girls that were stripped naked and walked through the village naked
Yes.
and beaten and locked in the police
For
station.
something they
The
didn't even
BBC,
do.
for something they didn't even do, BBC Africa Yoruba went and interviewed them, and that's all they did. They went, interviewed, and left. They didn't offer any support, knowing that they were putting their faces out there. And the poor girl is in the middle of depression. And to tell you the honest truth, I found it quite hard to engage with her because she is so distressed because of her face is out there again. So Mr. Wahid said that he would speak to the police, and because thank God he is the president of the community, the community, what is it? A community what?
Ayekwe, Ayekwe
Ayekwe Ayekwe
Community,
Community.
Ayekwe Development Community Association, Community Development Association,
Yes,
Ayekwe
and
Community
because
Development Association.
thank you, Princess, and because he has been the one who has been doing all the work for Bosse, all the support and everything, the police
From his own
asked him and
pocket.
said, "It's yeah, from his own pocket, from his own pocket." The police asked him, "Is this what you want?" And he said, "No, we don't want her out there like that." Because at the end of the day, yes, we agree that her face is out there. It's already out there. There's nothing we can do about that.
Do.
But this Punch came interview, see you later. We're
They
not
didn't
happy with
offer
that.
it, just like the BBC. Just like the
Yeah,
BBC.
yeah. And for me, I would say grant an interview to anybody who has something to offer this
To
young
offer
lady.
you.
We're not just sitting here to hear her story. There's a reason why her story needs to be heard. Her story
Heard.
needs to be heard because she needs to be helped and supported. She needs to be empowered. And in this day of social media that we live in, if people don't see what is actually happening, they are reluctant to help because they feel that it could be a con. I mean, for me, some people mess around and joke around. I'm going to say this, Princess. I've had that silly woman, Esteban or whatever they call her, come on social
I don't
media and
I
turn
don't know who
around and
this
say,
person is. You keep
"Oh, oh,
I don't
babes, you
know
don't even,
this person.
Princess, I swear to God, you don't even want to know." You know, she first got involved when, no, she did. The first time she came out to say something was around Auntie Ramota. She doesn't even know what has happened with these cases, and she will come out and she will say negative stuff. But the sad thing is, she doesn't stop to think of the impact it has on the person who needs the help and support. You understand? And the other day I heard her say, "Oh, Retty Susie got sacked from." First of all, she said Croydon Social Services. Then she changed it to Brent Social Services. I had to come out Yeah, because you turned around and you said, I was sacked because I stole money. And I'm thinking, hold on a sec. First of all, the fact is that a lot of people that follow her can't be educated or can't be that knowledge, because if they were, they would know that as a social worker, you don't handle funds. I'm not a finance officer as a social worker. Do you
Person.
know what I mean? And so I had to go onto my Facebook page and I had to call two of my colleagues that I worked with all the time. I was a social worker in Barnet, and I had to make sure people I'd worked with when I came back from maternity leave of having my second daughter. I had to call them out. I had to make sure that they weren't Nigerians. One, Michelle is Jewish. Chantel is West Indian. And I had to call them out and say, hello, you guys were in Barnet when I left. Was I sacked? Was I accused of stealing money? Because it affects what we do with these young
Yes,
people.
it
So
does.
when you are doing stupid things like accusing people of things that you know nothing about, it
Wow.
falls back on somebody else. So people will turn around and say, oh, Susie's dishonest. I'm not going to do this. And whenever I work on cases, I try my best to be as transparent as possible. You understand? Because it's not
Yes.
about me, it's about young Bosse. You understand? It's about nothing else apart from young Bosse. How do we get her rehabilitated? How do we help her? You understand? And
And
it's
the
sad to
and
see that
also it's also for us to also use this as a means to giving information, correct information of how things can
yes,
be. That could be anybody's
yes,
child or
it
niece
could be,
or friend's daughter, goddaughter,
yes,
neighbor. So
princess,
it's
you
also
have said,
serves as a deterrent to people who want to pimp young girls. I mean, we're sorry that
yes,
that man died. No, nobody's happy to hear somebody died. But you know what?
exactly,
It was as if he asked for that because he was obviously in a to overpower the girl. This is a tiny girl.
yeah,
This was a full-grown
yeah,
man with two wives and
yes,
six children. What was he doing with
yes,
a minor?
15
To
year
pimp
old.
her, to sleep with her, and then you're threatening, you took money off her, and then you're threatening her with a knife. That's a dangerous weapon. Sadly, he fell on the knife.
Yeah. Princess, please, can we ask Mr. Thomas to play the videos
Yes, the
so that
video.
people can
Okay.
have an understanding
Let
of
me,
what we're talking
okay.
about? So if you play the red one, the one when she was caught wearing red first,
When she
that
was
would be
actually, does he
lovely.
have both videos? Does he
He
have
has
both
both
videos?
videos.
ọmọ ìlú kò
All
ní
right.
ẹ
That's it.
sáàdì bó láyé pé ìjọ mélòó ló ti ń sùn sọ́dọ̀ bọ̀bọ́ yẹn kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ láàárọ̀ ìjọ fi pa.
Yes,
something,
so
Princess.
that
Did
was
you
the
not?
first
Yeah,
video.
can I
I'm not
ask?
sure whether you
Did
understood
you?
all the Yoruba that was being said
I did.
there.
I did. But can I ask you something? Did you not see the fear in her face?
She she
Oh,
was petrified. The word is petrified. She was petrified. She was terrified. This was a young 15-year-old girl. Can all of us just think, all of us that have children, think of your 15-year-old daughter or niece, or cousin, or those of us who remember being 15. Can you imagine what was going through that young girl's mind? She
surrounded
knows
by all those
Nigeria.
men.
She knows and all, and the place was full of men, grown
I also
men,
men. Because it was in the
and
Sabo.
northerners
It
as
happened in
well.
Sabo.
It happened in Sabo, in Shagamu, I think, in my hometown.
Yeah.
Now this young
Mm.
this young girl could have been lynched, but
Yes.
for that
Yes.
Seriki, but for that Seriki,
Yes.
whom I believe
Yeah.
God used. He has the good
To say
sense,
that.
to take her and lock her inside his shop
Yeah.
so that they couldn't,
Until
because
I noticed. I
the
noticed,
mob
Princess,
effect.
when the police notice when the police came, they did not ask any questions. They just pushed her in the van and left
Van, and
because
that's
they
it.
were scared that they were going to lynch
Anything could
them as
attack. They
well.
could attack their car. They could burn the car,
Yeah,
the van.
yeah,
Anything could happen.
yeah, yeah.
So it was a very, at that point when that my heart broke. I cried when I first watched that video. It was so heart
Yeah.
wrenching, and
Mm,
the look on that girl's face was like, this is it. I'm done.
mm.
But we are very grateful and thankful that it seems God has a purpose for this young girl, because it's like every step of the way He has put something or someone in place for her. So
Amen.
from the time she was at the police
When she was first
custody,
arrested,
she was first taken to
Abby
Shagamu,
said, yeah,
and for
yeah.
some reason she was taken away from Shagamu and taken to Abeokuta. I mean, because it was a murder case,
No,
and Abeokuta
that,
as the state
yeah,
capital.
no. So yeah, so basically what happened is that Abeokuta is the headquarters, and because it was looked upon as it was starting off as a murder case, they can't deal with it in Shagam. She was in police
Shagamu,
custody in Shagam,
yes,
so the plan was always to move her to Abeokuta. But what I would like to say is that when she was in Abeokuta, she had this lady Abby Faith, bless Abby. Abby was there every day to check up on her,
to check
along
upon
with
her.
Mr. Wahi. They got on. People
So
did
much.
offer help. Also, we
Thank you
thank
so
them
so
as well,
much.
but they weren't able to do everything by themselves. And at the end of the day, I want people to know that what they did, the money that they donated, helped this case so far. And one thing I have to say, Princess, I need to tell people, and I do apologize for this. We haven't finished yet. We
Oh
have
no.
not finished yet. Bosse went to court today. So Bosse didn't go to court on Friday because of Punch newspaper. But when they were told, because at the end of the day, the father has the final say. She still has a father regardless of what has happened. And when it was agreed that
Absolutely.
her being interviewed, yeah, when it was agreed that her being interviewed by Punch was not in her best interest, they brought her to the court today. So when they came to court today, it was agreed that they would bail her. When you think about it, Princess, Bossa Day is 15. She should not have even been in police
Re-
custody for her
remember,
age.
yes, Susie. Susie, remember when Mr. Abdul Wahab, God bless him, when he was relating to us earlier this morning about what happened in the court in Shagamu. Apparently, the judge is a
Yeah,
woman.
that's where I was coming
She,
to.
she was
That's
she
what
was
I
put
wanted to come to. Yeah,
she was
yeah,
put in
that
the
was
dock
what.
at And it was really heartwarming for you and I to hear what the judge then
Yeah.
did. So can you explain to our viewers what the judge did and what she said?
Yeah. So when you think about it, Bosse has been in police custody for about 4 weeks now, going to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And she's just been kept in a cell with no bed, just a mat on the floor, a few clothes, and a bucket. So basically, if she wants to go to the toilet, she has to knock on the door. And if nobody answers her, then she has to do
She
her
does it in,
business in
it
that
wasn't even a
bucket,
bucket, a tin. The man said a
a
tin.
tin, a
A
tin.
tin.
And when she does her business in that tin, when a lady comes, when there's a lady available, then they'll take her, dispose it, do whatever cleaning they need to clean. And she baths once a week, if I remember well. She's allowed to bath
Hmm.
once a week. Otherwise, she's
Yes.
locked up in the cell.
She
Now,
hasn't
one of the
been able
things
to buy.
yeah, so one of the things that I would say caused a lot of confusion was when Bossa Day done the interview with Punch. Bossa said that she was 17 going on 18. No, she said she was 18, that she was going to be
18.
18 in June. Yeah, she said she
Oh,
was 18. She said it herself. And I
she was
said, but
coerced.
hold on a
She
second.
was coerced. She was coerced.
Yeah, no, they don't think she was coerced because I'm not going to blame the police if they've not done anything wrong. Basically, what they're saying is because she said, and that threw me because I heard her say, I'm 18, I'm 17 in June, and I'm thinking, hold on a sec, you're not
She's
18.
all
You're
she's
yeah,
confused.
and I was thinking, well, you're 17. But then when we spoke to the father, and the father was like, "Oh," I was like, "How old is your daughter?" And he said she was 14. And I was
18.
like, "Well, why are you
But the
saying
school,
that she's 17?" And then that was when Mr. Wahid explained that because of what she was doing, which was prostitution, because this man
mm,
was her pimp, that was
yes,
why she said she was 18, because otherwise what she was doing was illegal. And whoever has
yes.
advised her has spoken to her. So I said, and you said, that we're not happy with the whole situation. I was like, I need proof. I need
I told them to go
actually
to her school.
proof. Yeah, but I was like, I need actual proof. Since the father said he hasn't got a birth certificate, but he knew when she was born in
Oh,
2004, please can we have proof of her date of birth? So Mr. Wahid with the father, bless them. And I swear they done this within hours. They done this,
hours.
no. We spoke to
The
them on the
next day.
Saturday. And the next day, on the Monday, they went to the school, and by 12 o'clock, they had all the paperwork, and they were able to send us the paperwork of her date of birth. And what I liked was the fact was they didn't only send us her date of birth,
Her
they sent
school
us a
records.
list of all the students in her class with
Class.
all their date of births so that you could see that it wasn't changed. Nobody had tampered with that record. So that was where we were
Absolutely.
able to ascertain that Bossa is actually 15. Till now, she is 15. Luckily, she
Hmm.
got to court today, and the judge, when they called her to the dock, the judge himself now looked at her and was like, hold on a sec,
How old
how
are
old are
you?
you? And Bossa turned around to the judge and said to the judge, I'm 15. And they said the man screamed
Out.
and said,
The
take
woman, it
her
was a
out
woman.
of this court.
Out my
Yeah, the
court.
woman was like,
Now.
take her out of my court now. Out.
Now.
Take her out. Because don't forget, they had told the woman, they had put on the paperwork
Was an
that she was
adult.
18. But we knew she wasn't 18 from the first day we saw her. You guys have just seen the video. You can see that child, that is a
That's a
child.
child.
I've looked at my daughter that is 17. She can't even sit beside my daughter that is 17. You understand?
She's
She
a
cannot.
child.
And the woman said, take her out of this courtroom now. Take her out. So she was taken out of the courtroom. And this
Yes.
picture does not do justice, though. This picture does not do justice.
It's the
You
first
understand?
one.
It's the
It's the
first
first.
one. When you
It's
see
the
that
first
first
one.
video, when they scored her, exactly. The video does justice, but not the picture, the way it's captured. You understand? I think
Yes.
I captured that. I captured that from the moving
From the
video when I was
video.
looking for. Yeah, I just captured it. So at the end of the day, in court now, it was decided Thank God. Can I get Princess back, please, Mr. Thomas? So the court case. Thank you. So the court case went ahead, and thank God, guys. You know, I have to say this with all happiness. She was bailed. She was bailed, but unfortunately, we haven't
Mm.
been able to meet all the bail conditions. And I'm going to move that over to Princess to explain what the bail conditions are, and we will meet them come by Wednesday. But
Wednesday.
Princess, can you explain, yeah, what those bail
Yes.
conditions are? Because I was on the bus, remember?
Thank you, Susie. Basically, what happened is when they got to the court, as Susie explained, the judge, bless her, was a female judge, asked for this young lady's age. And when she realized it was a minor, she knows the law. I mean, she's an officer of the law. She told them to remove her from the court because that court is not for juveniles, it's for adults. And I think she addressed all the lawyers. So it was Obasade's lawyer, the lawyer of the deceased, the family of the deceased, and the law and the prosecutor representing the commissioner of police. So they must have gone to the judge's chambers, and she obviously, heard the matter away from the court and granted her, bail to be released. But obviously, we know that in Nigeria, they have certain regulations and rules that need to be met, to allow a bail to go through. So even though the judge might have said, yes, bail is granted, then there's the rest of the paperwork to be done. So, for instance, they needed somebody to put up a surety for up to 100,000,
Yeah,
and another
100,000.
person
Yeah,
for another
two
100,000.
people.
They have to be
Two people.
on a property, either a landed
Yeah,
property,
two people.
a house,
Yeah.
or a
Mhm.
car, but it had to be
Yeah.
a minimum of 100,000. That's what that
Yes.
property needs to be worth. Aside from
Yeah.
that, they also personally needed to put up 10,200 naira each as their own recognition. And then,
Yeah.
furthermore, the Nigerian
Tax
system
paper.
asks for um,
Yeah.
tax clearance.
Yeah.
So where does this young girl who is 15, there's no way she's going to get tax clearance. Her father's a grave digger. He can't get any tax clearance. So this gentleman, again, the president of the Ayekwe Community Development Association, um, again, has kindly said, he needs to go and sort that out. So he said he would have to sort that out himself. He got somebody who was going to pair with him, partner with him,
Yeah.
to have the
Mm.
second 100,000 surety put in place, and also the
Yeah.
10,200 personal recognition. Apart from all this, their homes are going to be visited because they have to verify that they are who they say they are, and they're
And
going to
where
do
they
that
live. Yeah.
against they're going to do that against their national ID card. So the
Yeah.
national
Hmm.
ID card thing in Nigeria is real. It's real business.
Yeah.
So it's with the national ID card that they will now visit their home. They need to ascertain where they live, check their address, check that the information
Yeah.
they've written down in court and the police station are all correct and kosher.
Yeah.
So of
Yeah.
course that's a whole lot to do. But in the interim, um, our young Bosse has been taken to a care home for young girls in Abeokuta. So that's where she's
Yeah.
at, and that's where she'll be till tomorrow or
So when
Wednesday, when they've
Wednesday.
been able to
Wednesday. Yeah.
when they've been able to perfect all her bail paperwork. And
Yeah.
fingers crossed, Susie and I are fingers crossed that by the grace of God and by the power of lovely and wonderful, good hearted
Mr. White.
people,
Yeah.
Abosede will definitely be released and free. Free doesn't mean she's totally free.
No,
Don't
she's
forget
on
the
bail.
case,
She's on bail.
she's on bail, but this time is going to be um, not murder, but
In care of it.
um,
Yeah.
manslaughter, which will also be based
Yes.
on self-defense. So that is still a
Yes.
case that we still have to deal with ahead. But at least we'll
Yes.
initially be able to secure her bail by Wednesday, God willing. And as
Yep.
Retty
And
was
then
saying,
also to
was as Susie was telling us earlier, the reason why the GoFund is still going on is because we still have so much to cover and support Bosse with. Apart from rehabilitating her, apart from enabling her to go to school and learn a trade, there's still that manslaughter case that also needs to be
can
sorted.
I, and Princess, can we also say that she cannot proceed to the next level of her life that we're planning for until the court case is over and done with. So she
Yes,
still needs she will still need to make about two court appearances. So of
yes,
which we will need to. Can I just say, and I haven't said it all through the show, can all our mothers out there, all our lovely mothers, and all our fathers, and all our young ones, please share this video. Please share, share, share. This is a case that needs attention. This is real.
yes.
This is the case that needs attention. Please, guys, just
Exactly.
hit the share button. Honestly, let's hit that
It's
share button for
it's
young
this is
Abosede.
as real as the COVID-19 we're all dealing with at the moment.
Yes.
It's
And can
as
I add
real
to that,
as that.
Princess? Princess, this is a young lady who has not had a good start in life.
In life,
From I don't know what happened from 0 to 7, but from the age of 7,
her mother died.
the mother died. She was brought up with the father who has never really been able to care for her properly. And he admits that. He admits that, it was hard work for him. He is a grave digger who doesn't get work every day. Like he
Okay.
said to me, he only gets work when people die, and people don't die every day.
Don't
And
die
he's not
every
the only
day.
grave digger. Yeah, he's not the only grave digger in Ayekwe, so they have to, share work. And
Yes,
Bossa Day grew up with him in this compound that is derelict, from what I've heard. But she ran
yes.
away at the age of 13. Now, my experience, and I believe I have enough experience to say this. A 13-year-old will only run away when something is not right in their life.
Right.
If
Hmm.
they are feeling happy, secure, well
And
nurtured,
content
the likelihood and content, the likelihood of a 13-year-old child running away
is
is
very slim.
so,
Very slim.
so low. Oh, it's so, so slim.
Very
It
slim.
might be that they're being bullied by others. It might be that they're being bullied by, the people who are meant to care for them. It might be that they're
Yes.
being sexually abused. And when it comes to Bosse, I'm telling you, in my mind, I don't know why it keeps on coming back to sexual abuse. Now, I did my final dissertation in social work in sexual abuse, and I've worked along with a lot of young people that have been sexually abused. And, Bosse, there's my I've got a red flag flying when it comes to Bosse, but we
So have
won't know.
I.
I mean, yeah, we might not
Until
know, we might never know, but we will try. And I would like to say that one of the things that I'll be looking at is, I don't know whether we can find a counselor for her, because I think that we need to get to the bottom of what happened to Bosse before she ran away, and what has been happening to her over the
her
past two and a
since.
half years before
Yes.
she ended up where she was. And because I think it's easy to say, right, we're going to get her rehabilitated,
Stated.
yeah, but you can't do it with those issues bubbling underground,
Underline
because
the
that is just
underlying
like,
issues.
yeah, underline, because that is just like smoothing over the cracks. And there's no
Yes.
need to smooth over any cracks. The fact that we have her, and we have her at such a young age, means that, there's still a possibility that we can still work with her to make things
Yes.
right. So I would be happy if there's any NGOs that can offer counseling to a young lady of this
Can I
situation. But
can I can I
vet
just
anyone
chip
that
in
tries
here?
it.
Can I chip in here?
Yes.
Um, Bossa comes from two towns.
Yeah.
Ayekwe, her father's hometown, Odogbolu. her mother's hometown. I am
Mm.
aware that those two towns, and I'm now, because obviously, I'm a princess, I'm a royal, so I want to take it, I want to bring it home
Yes.
now. Um,
Yeah.
those two towns have monarchs. Those monarchs have queens and women who are elders in the towns, in the community,
And mothers. And
and
mothers.
mothers. We're using this platform to appeal to their hearts, to appeal to them. As far as I'm concerned, traditionally, these women are the real first ladies of those communities. What we're doing with the government, that's to do with the government and politicians. That's why I said I'm bringing it home. I'm not talking to first ladies of governors' wives because I don't want
Yeah.
them to, I don't want this matter politicized at all. This is a very delicate matter concerning this young girl. And with your profession, you understand what I'm talking about. And I'm sure people out there too would see within reason. So we,
Yeah.
Susie and I, are appealing, really, really appealing to the hearts of the monarchs of those kingdoms, and also that's Odobolu and Ayekwe, and the queens, the Oloris of those kingdoms, and the women that work with them. I am aware that there are NGOs. A lot of the Oloris, what they usually have is just like the first ladies of states, they have their own charities and NGOs, whereby because the first lady of states cannot reach, the other the local level, so that is why I believe
Yeah.
the Queen set up all these their charities and NGOs to look
Yeah.
after people in their community, especially the vulnerable ones, just like Bosse, who is a child. I believe
Yeah.
some people felt that she was 18 plus. I'm now, because I did speak to some people, I'm now letting them know that, as I
No.
said earlier, is not. We have found her exact age, and she's not a wayward girl as we thought. Something happened in the life of this young girl that turned her into what seemed to be a wayward girl. If a young girl
Yeah.
runs away from home, how's she going to feed? From what she was wearing, you could see that whatever money she was making was just to put food in her belly. She didn't
Exactly.
have she didn't have any weave on. She didn't have her face made up. She wasn't wearing
Hmm.
anything extraordinary or extravagant. She was just a
Hmm.
girl that you would walk past her any day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is what I call survival of the fittest. She was just making money, albeit in the wrong way, to feed
Yeah.
herself, put food in her belly. That's all she was doing.
Yeah.
So I'm appealing to all these mothers out there, please, and not
Yeah.
only mothers in Ayekwe and Odobolu, mothers all over in Nigeria, in Africa, across the
Mm.
world. If you really feel for this child, please,
Mm.
please, as Susie said earlier, we don't have to change the entire world, but we can change
Yeah.
the world of one person. Bosse is
And
one
can I
of those
say,
people. We can
yeah,
change
and
her
can I
world.
say, yeah, and can I say also, Princess, it's like,
Yeah,
um, we're not asking anyone to drop any large sums. If people can drop 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever they can
I
afford,
think we even wrote a
just for
pound. I think we wrote £1, £2,
£1,
£5.
honestly, because you'll be
Little drops
surprised
of water
more
makes
to
a
make an
mighty
ocean.
ocean.
Yeah, that is it. This is a child that, I always say to people, and it's like, if you go in your car, if you search your car, or you go down the back of your sofa, or you go into some of your old bags, you might find a few pennies there. Those pennies
Yes,
could help Butter because all
yes,
added up together makes a big difference to her life. Now, the plan
yes.
to move forward to Busse is she's going to be where she is, secure and safe for a few months
Oh,
until the
yes,
court case is over. And we have to find a way. I don't know, or we don't know what type of life Busse has been living for the
living.
past few years, for 2.5 years. Now, Mr. Wahid Wahid
Abdul Wahab.
Wa- Abdul Wahad has put himself on the line. And he's gonna take. Oh God, sorry guys, he's gonna take her in. Yeah, we don't know the type of life that she has lived for the past 2.5 years. We don't know the
Yes.
type of skills she has picked up, the type of bad habits. So he's putting himself on the line to hold on to
Yes.
her until the case ends, and then we'll be able to move her to where they would be equipped to help her in every different way that they can, because I've got a charity in that area that would also, I'm sure they would do counseling sessions. The owner of the charity actually has a PhD. She's a PhD holder. Oh God, sorry, she's a
Yes.
PhD holder. So I'm quite confident when I send her down there. But I want us ladies, as mothers, as sisters, as grandmothers, nobody else. We all know what we ourselves could do. We never ever know what our kids, grandkids, nephews, nieces. We don't know what they could do or what type of situation
No.
they could get them caught along the line. You understand? That is life. You understand? That is life. So I would like to plead with everyone that GoFundMe is there. We are very
Yes.
transparent about how this
Yeah.
money is being spent. You understand?
Absolutely.
I don't believe in taking money from anyone without me having to explain what that money is used for. And I know I've worked with a number of cases, you understand, and I've always
Yes.
done the same thing, even when I've even spent my own money. You understand? You understand?
Yes.
Let's put our hand in our pocket. You know what? For some reason, the Nigerians are more generous than the people abroad. I don't know why, but this time around, I
Well,
didn't get
because
no money from Nigeria. But I haven't got an NGO, so if I'm going to put up, my friend has agreed for me to use her bank account, and she's somebody who I trust, who you know as well, Simi.
yes, of course, beautiful Simi.
Simi
Yeah.
Dabiri. Simi was a
Yes.
social worker before she moved back to Nigeria, so she's someone that
Yes.
I trust. And so I'm just appealing to everyone out there. Let's put 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira. You understand? At least let's make this girl into something. You understand?
Yes.
Nobody deserves to be treated as a nothing. She's had a
At all.
horrific life, because there
She
is no
has
way you would tell a 13-year-old on the streets in Nigeria,
streets.
even a 13-year-old on the streets in London, is putting herself at risk. The
Mhm.
fact that she's lived this long, wow, and she's only a little thing. Guys, let's
Yes.
help this young lady,
Young
please.
girl.
Because
And if
the
there's
father has been
any
honest with us.
organizations out there, as you said, you were asking if there's any organization out there, especially in Nigeria, particularly in the
Yeah,
Ogun State or Shagamu area, that are going to be able to offer her counseling, professional counseling. Can they please be in
yeah,
touch with us and just send us a message
yeah.
so that we
Princess,
can
I
we
must
can
say, yeah, and I need the NGOs. I need us to be very clear with the NGOs about what we are doing here. We already have a
yes,
plan in place for her. You understand? We do have a plan in place for her. We've agreed that plan with the father, and that's the plan. That's what we're going to follow. That is the plan
yes,
that we plan to go with.
absolutely.
You
Well,
understand? And
basically, we all we need is maybe not even an NGO now. All we need is a professional counselor, child
yeah,
counselor, child
yeah,
psychologist who is able to
yes,
to
yeah,
to give some help
yes. Yes, yes. And this would be someone who's passionate about the job, someone who is passionate about the
about
development
children.
of children, someone who would want to know, because this could be a case study for them, because they don't know what
Yes,
type of case could come up in the future.
in the future.
Bossa Day
That's true.
is a very good case study for anyone, if you ask me, because it
Yes.
would be nice to understand where she's coming from,
What
how she got to where she is,
she is
and look
at.
at how we can pull her out of that. Yeah, yeah, hmm
Well,
yeah,
thank you so much, Susie. Is there any other thing you'd like to add? I think we need to see the second video before we wrap up.
yes. And can I
Maybe
can
so
I
that
just
people
say
can.
this? This is the interview where
Yes,
she said she was 17, 18,
yes,
which
yes.
was not true. So yeah, please. Yeah, Uncle
Okay,
Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, thank you, sir.
Èmi àti Aliu la jọ sùn mọ́jú tó di àárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì ni Aliu sọ fún mi pé mo mú 3,000. Mo wá sọ pé mi ò mú 3,000. Ó wá sọ pé àfi dandan kí fóun ní 3,000 òun. Ó wá ṣẹ̀kàrà mi. Ìgbà tó ṣẹ̀kàrà mi ó gba 3,700 lọ́wọ́ mi. Ó wá sọ pé ibo mo ti rí. Mo ní ṣe bí wọ́n ló mú mi lọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹni tí ó bá mi sùn tó fún mi ní owó. Ó wá sọ pé àfi tóun bá gba gbogbo owó tó wà lọ́wọ́ mi kóun tó fi èmi sílẹ̀. Ìgbà tó gba 3,000 yẹn lọ́wọ́ mi àti 1,000 jẹ́ 4,700. Mo wá bẹ̀ Aliu pé kó fún mi ní owó transport kí n padà sí Ògìjò. Aliu wá sọ pé òun ò lè fún mi ní owó kankan pé ẹni tí ló lè ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ilé yẹn. Ibi tá a ti jẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ bí ó ṣe lọ yọ ọbẹ̀ nìyẹn tó fún mi lóhùn mọ́ orí bẹ́ẹ̀ pé mo sọ pé kí ló fẹ́ fọ̀bẹ̀ sí ó lóun máa fi gún mi ní pé ìkọ̀kọ́ lè ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ilé yìí. Mo ní bò lè ti máa fọ̀bẹ̀ ìgbà tó wá fún mi lóhùn ìṣà. Ìgbà tí mo wá rí ibi yìí mo wá di ọwọ́ tó fi di ọ̀bẹ yẹn mú mo yẹ dì mú tí mo ní kí n gbọ̀bẹ yẹn lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ tí mo rí ọ̀bẹ yẹn gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ tí mo wá ní pé kí n jù síwájú ọwọ́ mi wá ṣèṣe bà láyà.
Ẹ̀mí lológún.
Ẹ̀ẹ̀kan ìgbà tó ṣubú tó lọ tó pariwo tó pe láńlọ́ọ̀dù mo wá sáwọn nínú yàrá kan. Nínú yàrá yẹn lọ tí wọ́n mú mi. Ó máa ń gbé wa nínú ọ̀kadà ni. Tó bá ti gbé wa lọ́kadà lọ síbi tí a bá sọ pé à ń lọ. Ó wá mọ̀ pé iṣẹ́ pàrọ̀ ni mò ń ṣe ló fi láfi máa tiẹ̀ fi John date. Iṣẹ́ olóṣù mò ń ṣe.
Iṣẹ́ kí ló pè é?
Olóṣù. Ó ti lé ọdún mẹ́ta. Oṣù mẹ́ta.
Ó ti lé lóṣù mẹ́ta tó ti ń ṣe. Ta ló mú ẹ wọbẹ̀?
Ọ̀rẹ́ mi ló kọ́ mi.
Ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ wo ni níbo ló ń gbé?
Ayé pé.
Ayé pé.
Tó bá ti pè wá lórí pọ̀ tó bá ní ká wá bá wọn lé a máa bá wọn. Tó bá dẹ̀ ní ká wá bá wọn ló tẹ̀lé a máa lọ bá wọn. Tó máa fún mi 55. Ìgbà míì mo máa ń ṣe tó ẹ̀mẹ́rin lójúmọ́. Ìgbà míì ẹ̀márùn-ún. Wọ́n máa ń lo kọ́ńdọ̀. Mo parí secondary mi lọ sí pharmacy mo kà.
Ọmọ ọdún mélòó ni ẹ?
18 ọdún 2002 June 1.
Ọmọ ológo ni ẹ?
Ọmọ ayé pé dádì mi gbé láyé pé mi níyà nítorí pé mo sọ pé mi ò gbé ní ọ̀dọ̀ yẹn pé kó dá mi padà sí ọ̀dọ̀ dádì mi. Dádì mi wá sọ pé àwọn ti kọ̀ mí lọ́mọ. Pé kí ìjọba ràn mí lọ́wọ́. Pé kí ìjọba ràn mí lọ́wọ́.
What's that video? That could be, you saw the child. That is a child. That is not an 18-year-old, not a 17-year-old. That's a child. That is a little girl. I remember myself at 15. I'm sure you'll remember yourselves at 15, or your own daughters or nieces at 15. If this girl had the right kind of background, and when we talk about background, we're not even talking about money here. Sometimes money is not everything, but she had something in place for her. There's no way she would have ended up on the streets. There's no way she would have met this man. She was explaining in Yoruba there that Aliu was a motorcyclist. In Nigeria, they're called Okada riders. That's what they call motorcyclists, and it's a form of public transportation. So she and her friend apparently used his services he then found out that what they did was, sleep with men for money. And that's
Mm.
how he started to befriend her and he became her boyfriend. So he obviously aided and abetted what they were doing. And obviously something went wrong that particular day. Maybe Aliutu was a bit broke and he just wanted
But
to
did she say she was going? Did she say that he started going out with her?
that's why I said that he
They
became her
started dating.
boyfriend. He
But
became her boyfriend.
can you imagine how he took advantage of this
Of course.
child? So
Of
he
course.
knew she was
Of
a child.
course. Of
This
course.
is a man that has two wives and six
And
kids.
and six
You know,
children.
God and God bless his soul because he is late now. But instead of him to like, oh, you need to stop doing this. He started sleeping with her and pimping her
With
out at the
her
same time.
and then
That is
oppressing her.
abuse.
And the
That
money
is
that's meant to be
abuse.
her money, he wanted the whole lot.
You are taking from as well. That
And he
is
was asking her,
abuse.
she said, he asked her, where did you said you didn't have any money. Where'd you get this money from? She said, I didn't take your money. This is the money I got from the job you took me to. That's what she was
The
explaining
job he
Yoruba.
took her to.
You took me to,
The job
yes.
he took her to. So he was
The
her
job
pimp.
he took it to, you know. And especially towards the end when she was making that plea very tearfully to the government, when she was saying, "Ìjọba ẹ ràn mí lọ́wọ́," she was asking the government to please come to her aid, come to help her. At that point, I can imagine what's going on in her mind. You know
Well, she was
that
in handcuffs. You know what? That's the first time
of course
I didn't realize she was in handcuffs. I just
she was.
realized today when
Oh,
I've
she
watched it.
was.
I've watched it so many times, but I didn't realize she was in handcuffs. I
She
just
was in
realized that she was
handcuffs.
actually in
Yes,
handcuffs. Can you
because
imagine
the
how?
case is the case is murder, was a murder case.
Yeah, I
It's
know,
now
yeah.
that
I don't know why
you and I
before.
stepped in that we're able to now change it from murder to manslaughter. So they treated her
I know
as
it.
a first class criminal.
Mine. Serious. And you know what? I thank God for social media. Because if not for social media, we wouldn't have heard about her case. If not for social media, we wouldn't have been able to reach out from where we are. I have not been to Ayekwe in about 30 years. About 30 years, the
Okay,
last time
I was still
I was
there about a year
there.
ago.
Yeah, no, I haven't been there in about, 30 years. You understand? And I just thank God that, in spite of the fact that we are far away, we've been able to assist. You understand?
You know,
Because Mr. Wahid has played a major,
Wahab.
major role. Do you know what? I reached out to a number of Facebook, social media, Instagram influencers. I reached out to a number of them, and all of them said no to me. All of them said no to me.
You,
Some said to me,
excuse
"Oh,
me.
we're working on other cases." Just to post, okay, can you please post her GoFundMe? Just that link. Can you post it on her page? No, sorry, it will interrupt the case I'm working with. No, I don't want to be involved. Oh, I was just like, wow, wow.
Well, these
This
things
is
happen, but you know what, Susie? There are 2 points that
mm,
you raised just now that resonate with me. First, you said social media. Thank God for social media. Social media
mm-hmm.
has its ups and downs. Okay, it has its
Yeah,
good and not so
yeah,
good. This is one of
yeah,
its goods, and this also shows
yeah,
us that we should, as individuals, we should use our social media platforms for things that would bring about a better quality of life for ourselves and
yeah,
others, not to tear each
yeah,
other down, not to abuse each other,
yeah.
not to do things that are unnecessary. It just shows
Do
us
you know
that
what,
there is a reason.
Princess? Princess, do you know what I say? Abuse each other, tear each other down if you want to, but use it for good as well. Because you know what, Princess? There are some people, right, that and I'm gonna say this. There's some people like Esteban, that woman. If she's not tearing people down, I don't think she's happy. That is what keeps her happy. But so long as people know that, well, who is she? It's like me. I looked at her when she was like telling lies about me. I was just like, well, you know what? Ain't nothing you're gonna say is nothing is gonna change my CRB. It is what it is. If I haven't committed a crime, I haven't committed a crime. You understand? You understand? So let them use it for what they are, for what they want to use it for, but try and use it for good as well. Try and
Well,
use it, even if everyone.
you know, I'm over 60, so I'm a veteran, and I'm still with the old school and the strict. So
Well,
I'll
everyone
leave.
is about
No,
your age as well.
I
I'm
don't
sure
think
she's
so.
even blogged.
I
I remember.
I
No,
don't
she
think
is.
I
No,
don't think so.
princess.
Trust
I'm
me,
sure.
Susie, trust me, trust me. I don't think so. I don't
Princess,
think
she
so.
is. Oh, princess,
I'm
from what
telling you,
I heard, I
darling.
promise you.
Trust me. I do not. But
I mean, she
it's
acts
not
like,
about
no, no,
her.
no.
I don't know this
Exactly.
woman.
Exactly.
I don't know her, but it's
She's
not about
blocked you
her.
before, though.
I don't. Well, I don't know her.
I
And
get
she,
it.
and as my
Yeah, you
father,
know,
the iconic prince, would say, if somebody doesn't exist in your world, then they don't exist. So that's
exactly.
it.
You're so right.
You know.
You are
But the
just, no, no,
second thing
you
I
are
was going to,
100% right.
the second thing I was also going to talk about is maybe now that we have all been faced with this pandemic called COVID-19, coronavirus, I think it's going to make us
Mm,
all calm down, think about life a bit more carefully,
mm,
and start to
mm,
do those things that really matter. One of them is
mm,
what you've just said about trying to help this young girl. Those are the
mm.
things that matter, because at the end of the day, nothing else really matters. When you're left between life and death, choose one. Only a fool would choose death. And when I say
Yes.
death doesn't always mean dying per se.
Die.
We
Yeah. You
could
can be
die.
dead
We could.
but
They say
alive.
a fool dies
Yeah.
1,000. We can die 1,000 ways, different types of ways
Yes.
of
Yeah.
dying.
Mm-hmm.
Which will eat
Yeah.
into our lives, eat into our souls. Whereas we can
Yeah.
choose life and really live,
Yes.
by being
Yes.
someone who contributes to society, someone who helps to
Yes. In a
build
positive
nations
way.
in a
Mm-hmm.
positive way. And it's about the coming generation. Bossa is part of that coming generation. I
I
do
cannot
know
add,
for a
princess,
fact.
to what you're saying. Can I just add, like, our culture in Nigeria is that a village brings up a child, not a parent. Let us hold
Remember,
on to that. Let us
yes,
hold
you're
on
so
to
right.
that.
Remember when my nephew
Yeah,
was giving his speech, Femi, the world knows him as Anthony Joshua, when he was giving his amazing speech at the Commonwealth
yeah,
Day in front of Her Majesty the
yeah.
Queen and the rest
Okay,
of the
yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
said, and he was talking from his own personal experience and
Experience.
how
Yeah,
family from both his mother's side, his father's side, mostly his mother's side, were there to help nurture him as he grew up. And also the community
mm,
he lived in and grew up in Watford, who were not
yeah,
necessarily Africans, they were Caucasians,
yeah,
but they were
yeah.
part
Exactly.
of the family that he knew
Exactly.
that helped
Mm-hmm.
shape his life. And that's why he said
Yeah,
it takes two parents to give birth to a child, but it takes a village to raise a child. And that's why he
yeah,
was able to
yeah,
stand in
yeah.
front of the whole world. So Bosse, who
Toby, what
knows
you doing?
what Bosse is going to
Yeah.
do tomorrow? Who knows?
Who
But it will be
knows? Who knows?
wonderful and
Yeah.
heartwarming for us to all think back, maybe in another 10, 20 years, and us think back and say, oh, look at Bosse now,
Wow.
you
Yeah.
know, and
Mm-hmm.
all feel blessed and happy for what she's going to become. So
Amen.
on behalf
Yeah.
of
Definitely.
our viewers, on behalf of Heritage Television, on behalf of myself,
Yeah.
and may I say on behalf of Bosse as well, I'd love to really, really thank you, Susie Omoritiola.
Oh.
Thank
Oh.
you so much for being the person
No.
that you are. I
Oh,
always say that
princess.
Susie is very much misunderstood. You're somebody. You're like fella, very misunderstood. Um, but I know you. I know you very well. You're my amazing aburo. I've known you for years
I've
and
known you for
years.
years.
I love your
Yeah.
girls. I love you, and
Thank you
I
so much.
do
Thank you
know
for the
that you
gift.
do have a good heart. You might be a little bit
Oh,
mischievous
thank you.
sometimes, but it's
I've
without
always been.
harm. It's without harm. It's harmless. It's
Yeah,
harmless.
you
I
know
just
me
want to
well.
thank you because you have a catalog of people that you've helped, people you've never met, you don't know
Yeah.
them, you don't know some, you don't even get to meet them. You were able to meet some,
Yeah.
but most of them you
Yeah.
never got to meet them. And you raise money,
You
you
know
help
what?
them get their lives together. So
Do you know what, Princess?
thank you indeed.
Princess, Princess, I
Yes,
want to
dear.
say a big thank you to you because I came to you, God directed me to the right person, and I reached out to you, and I swear you just wrapped your arms around me and you held on to that case. And I just have to thank you so much. You understand? Because,
My
like you
pleasure.
said, I've known you for years. We've even known longer than we knew when we checked our history. You understand?
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and I just have to say a big, massive thank you to you, to Uncle Thomas. I say a big, massive thank you. You have been wonderful, beautiful, helpful. You have guided me. Even when I've got upset, you've calmed me down. Princess, I love you to bits. I tell your daughter, she never rang me. She was meant to ring me. She never did. But no, I love you to bits. Thank you so much. Thank you, Princess.
Bless you. Bless you so much. Love to the girls, and I'm sure by
Everybody in
Wednesday we'll
London,
have even
have you
better
heard that Heritage
updates to share
Television
with
has come up
people
with something
regarding
new?
Boss's
All your
case.
functions and
God bless you,
celebrations can
darling.
now be
Thank you,
multi-camera
Uncle
live
Thomas.
stream.
God
That was
bless
only
you. Thank you,
reserved for the
viewers.
rich and famous.
Signing off.
Having
It's
a
been
function in
Heritage
London can be
Television.
viewed clean and
I'm
clear
Princess Bride
immediately
Wadide
from any
Sholari,
part
and
of
we've
the
had
world.
Miss Susie
Trust Heritage
Retiola,
TV to
also
give
known
you a
as
better
Susie
reach.
Reti, being
Heritage
with us
Television
on
also
the
does
show.
photography
God bless
that
you
will make
all.
you the
Have
envy
a
of
good
all your
evening.
friends and
Continue to
family.
arise
Heritage
as agents
Television
of
is the
positive
best.
change.
All your functions like
See you all.
Jerusalem, Jerusalem, land of glory, Jerusalem, holy land, then they visit to Jerusalem.
These are the things that have been written, and we are bearing witness to them as being true. This is an opportunity for you to visit Israel, Mount Nebo in Jordan, the ground where God spoke to Moses, showing him the promised land and the holy land of Jerusalem. 10 days visit to see for yourself the places which you have read in the Bible, like Elah Valley, where David defeated Goliath, Mount Nebo, Sea of Galilee, Canaan, where Jesus turned water to wine, River Jordan, where John the Baptist baptized Jesus Christ, Joseph and Maria House in Nazareth, Jericho, the Dead Sea, the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus prayed, Lazarus' tomb, King David tomb in Jerusalem, the house where Jesus and his disciples had their Last Supper, the Pentecost Upper Room, and so on. Our office is at Albert Basins, South Dockland, London, E16 7QY. For more info, please visit www.holytrinitypilgrimage.co.uk or please call Captain Mother Hassan on 078 721 37953 or Pastor Elijah Kamui on 079 846 34898 or email us info@holytrinitypilgrimage.co.uk. A pilgrim is not a tourist. The tourist sees sights and returns home the same person, but the pilgrim gains insights and returns home changed and spiritually fulfilled.
Jerusalem, Jerusalem. What's Heritage TV? Heritage TV.
Everybody in London, have you heard that Heritage Television has come up with something new? All your functions and celebrations can now be multi-camera live stream. That was only reserved for the rich and famous. Having a function in London can be viewed clean and clear immediately from any part of the world. Trust Heritage TV to give you a better reach. Heritage Television also does photography that will make you the envy of all your friends and family. Heritage Television is the best. All your functions like birthdays, funerals, weddings, church anniversaries or harvest. Heritage Television is the master. We are in the heart of London with an ultra-modern equipped studio. You can call us on 020-800-46100 or email us info@heritagetv.co.uk or mobile 0734 1234 560. Heritage Television will do you proud.
What's Heritage TV? La 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 la. Heritage TV.
Everybody in London, have you heard that Heritage Television has come up with something new? All your functions and celebrations can now be multi-camera live stream. That was only reserved for the rich and famous. Having a function in London can be viewed clean and clear immediately from any part of the world. Trust Heritage TV to give you a better reach. Heritage Television also does photography that will make you the envy of all your friends and family. Heritage Television is the best. All your functions like birthdays, funerals, weddings, church anniversaries or harvest. Heritage Television is the master. We are in the heart of London with an ultra-modern equipped studio. You can call us on 020-800-46100 or email us info@heritagetv.co.uk or mobile 0734 1234 560. Heritage Television will do you proud.
What's Heritage TV? La 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 la. Heritage TV.
Everybody in London, have you heard that Heritage Television has come up with something new? All your functions and celebrations can now be multi-camera live stream. That was only reserved for the rich and famous. Having a function in London can be viewed clean and clear immediately from any part of the world. Trust Heritage TV to give you a better reach. Heritage Television also does photography that will make you the envy of all your friends and family. Heritage Television is the best. All your functions like birthdays, funerals, weddings, church anniversaries or harvest. Heritage Television is the master. We are in the heart of London with an ultra-modern equipped studio. You can call us on 020-800-46100 or email us info@heritagetv.co.uk or mobile 0734 1234 560. Heritage Television will do you proud.
What's Heritage TV? La 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 la. Heritage TV.
Everybody in London, have you heard that Heritage Television has come up with something new? All your functions and celebrations can now be multi-camera live stream. That was only reserved for the rich and famous. Having a function in London can be viewed clean and clear immediately from any part of the world. Trust Heritage TV to give you a better reach. Heritage Television also does photography that will make you the envy of all your friends and family. Heritage Television is the best. All your functions like birthdays, funerals, weddings, church anniversaries or harvest. Heritage Television is the master. We are in the heart of London with an ultra-modern equipped studio. You can call us on 020-800-46100 or email us info@heritagetv.co.uk or mobile 0734 1234 560. Heritage Television will do you proud.
You need to hear from me. Let me say my own side of the story.
You have nothing to explain. How dare you talk while I am talking? All that campaigned for you, you abandoned them, including me.
Second tenure to compensate everybody that worked for me.
You are waiting for the second tenure to come before you can compensate them.
The governor is really looting the state dry to campaign and elect you as a member of the state's House of Assembly. Just like that. I hope people are not trying to set me up.
Your Excellency, sir.
Yes?
Is it true that you are log ahead with your presumed political godfather, Chief Obitiki?
Governor, answer the question.
Yes.
Answer the question. Yes or no? We are here to tell the governor and his cohorts to free Ngozi. She was only exercising her freedom of speech.
We believe working with you is going to give us
an edge over other parties. You said you have a candidate. Yeah.
3 years ago, you came into this palace. Then, wretched, hungry. Then I introduced you to Obidike.
Could you imagine Obidike peddling rumors everywhere? Telling people how he sponsored me, how he single-handedly made me the governor.
Look at what you are saying about a man who gave you 600 million naira.
I want to give you one.
So maybe she's like somebody.
Honestly, that's why I just tell her shut my door and all his cronies. Then I have this.
Blessings. Namara chukwu.